Have you ever noticed that life feels lighter, more magical when you truly let go? When you stop trying to control everything and just breathe? Today I'm going to share something that changed my life completely, and I know it will change yours too. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath. This simple act of being present, of letting go, this is where your power lies. Not in struggling, not in fighting, but in surrendering to the infinite intelligence within you. You see, most people live their entire lives in a state of resistance. They're constantly pushing against what is, fighting what could be, worrying about what might be. But I'm here to tell you something that might shock you. The universe isn't separate from you. It's an extension of your consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're truly happy. In those moments, you're not trying to control anything. You're simply being. This state of being, this natural flow, this is your true power. But most never realize this because they're too busy trying to make things happen. Let me share something profound with you. Every time you worry about the future, every time you stress about how something will work out, you're actually resisting the natural flow of life. You're telling the universe you don't trust it. And what you resist persists. I remember a time when I was constantly trying to control everything in my life. Every detail, every outcome. I was exhausted, frustrated, and nothing seemed to work out the way I wanted. Then I discovered something that changed everything. The power of letting go. You see, letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind at work. When you truly grasp this, something magical happens. Life starts working for you instead of against you. Think about when you're falling asleep. You don't try to fall asleep, do you? You relax and allow sleep to come. This same principle applies to everything in life. The more you try to force things, the more they resist. The more you let go and trust, the more naturally things flow. Most people approach life like they're swimming upstream, constantly fighting against the current. But what if I told you that everything you want is actually downstream? What if all you need to do is stop struggling and allow yourself to flow with life instead of against it? The universe operates through perfect law. Just as gravity doesn't sometimes work and sometimes doesn't, it's always working. The law of consciousness is always working too. Your only job is to align yourself with it through the art of letting go. Consider this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You know that the seed contains everything it needs to become what it's meant to be. Your desires are exactly the same. Most people don't realize that they're constant checking their anxiety, their need to control. These are the very things preventing their desires from manifesting. It's like constantly digging up the seed to see if it's growing. When you truly understand the art of letting go, you'll notice something remarkable. Things start working out better than you could have planned. It's as if life itself is orchestrating events in your favor. But this can only happen when you get out of your own way. Think about breathing for a moment. You don't control each breath, do you? There's something within you that knows exactly how to breathe, how to digest food, how to make your heart beat. This same intelligence knows exactly how to bring your desires to fruition. I've observed that most people live in a state of constant tension. They're always trying to figure everything out, always trying to make things happen. But life doesn't work that way. Life unfolds naturally when you allow it to. Consider how a flower blooms. It doesn't strain or struggle. It doesn't try to force its petals open. It simply allows the process to unfold naturally. This is exactly how manifestation works, through allowing, not forcing. The secret that most miss is this: your natural state is one of ease and flow. Struggle is learned. Anxiety is learned. Trust and relaxation are your natural state, just as they were when you were a small child. Most never realize that their power lies not in doing, but in being. When you're in the right state of consciousness, life moves you toward your desires automatically. You don't have to figure out how. I think about when you're in a state of complete trust. Notice how everything seems to work out effortlessly. This isn't coincidence. This is the natural result of letting go and allowing the infinite intelligence within you to work on your behalf. Your only job is to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled. Not through effort or strain, but through relaxed awareness. Just as you naturally accept that the sun will rise tomorrow, accept that what you desire is already yours. I've watched countless people struggle because they think they need to make things happen. But I tell you this, everything you want is already created. Your job is simply to relax into the state where it exists. Consider how easily water flows around obstacles. It doesn't fight them. It doesn't try to break them down. It simply finds another way. This is how you should move through life, with fluid adaptability and trust. Most people approach manifestation like it's a battle to be won. But I tell you this, it's a garden to be tended. Plant your seed, your desire, water it with attention, and then let it grow naturally. Think about when you're deeply relaxed, perhaps just before falling asleep. In those moments, your mind isn't racing to solve problems. You're simply being. This state of relaxed awareness is where your true power lies. Most never understand that their anxiety about outcomes is actually creating resistance to those very outcomes. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. Release the brake of worry and watch how naturally things begin to flow. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when people finally grasp this truth, that their only job is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not through effort or strain, but through relaxed, natural knowing. Consider how effortlessly your heart beats, how naturally your lungs breathe, how perfectly your body maintains its temperature. This same intelligence knows exactly how to bring your desires into reality. Trust it. The secret that transforms lives is this: your external world must conform to your internal state. But this doesn't happen through force. It happens through surrender, through letting go of the how, and trusting in the perfect law. Think about times when things worked out perfectly without your intervention. Remember that feeling of pleasant surprise? That's what happens when you get out of your own way and allow life to work for you. Most people live in a state of constant mental chatter, always trying to figure everything out. But I tell you this, your intellectual mind is not equipped to orchestrate the infinite details required to manifest your desires. Let go and trust. Consider how naturally a river flows to the ocean. It doesn't stress about the path. It doesn't worry about obstacles. It simply flows, knowing it will reach its destination. This is how you should live, in complete trust of the process. Your power lies in your ability to feel the reality of your desire now, while completely letting go of how it will manifest. The how is not your concern. Your only concern is maintaining the state of having already received. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that letting go isn't giving up. It's surrendering to a higher intelligence that knows far better than their conscious mind how to bring about their desires. Think about when you're truly in the flow of something you love. Time disappears, worry vanishes, and everything seems to happen perfectly. This state of flow is your natural state. The more you trust, the more you experience it. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still. Not a physical stillness, but a mental stillness. When your mind is still, when you're truly at peace with where you are, that's when magic happens. Consider how a seed becomes a tree. It doesn't happen through force or struggle. It happens through a natural unfolding, a perfect sequence of events that the seed doesn't need to control or understand. Think about how naturally you trust that night will turn to day. You don't lie awake wondering if the sun will rise. This same level of natural trust must be applied to everything you desire. It's not blind faith. It's understanding the law. Most people live in a state of constant seeking, always looking for their desire to manifest. But this very state of seeking implies that what you want is absent. The secret is to live as if you already have what you desire. I've watched people struggle for years because they keep trying to control the process. But when they finally let go, when they truly surrender to the perfect law within them, everything begins to shift effortlessly. Consider how easily you accept your own reflection in a mirror. There's no doubt, no questioning. This same level of natural acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Feel it as real as your reflection. The secret that changes everything is this: your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is an effect, a shadow of your state. But most people spend their lives trying to change the shadow instead of changing the state that cast it. Think about when you're completely absorbed in something you love. You're not trying to make anything happen. You're simply being. This state of pure being, free from anxiety and effort, is where true creation occurs. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still and know. Not intellectual knowing, but a deep, unshakable knowing that transcends logic and external evidence. Consider how naturally water takes the shape of its container. Your consciousness is like water. It takes the shape of whatever state you pour it into. Choose your state wisely, for it will manifest in your world. Your external reality is nothing more than your internal state pushed out. But this doesn't mean you need to force changes. It means you need to relax into the state where what you desire already exists. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that letting go isn't a passive state. It's an active trust in the perfect law. They know that what they desire is already theirs in consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're completely at peace. There's no struggle, no effort, no trying to make things happen. This state of peace is actually your most powerful creative state. Most people approach their desires like they're reaching for something far away. But I tell you this, your desire isn't out there somewhere. It's a state of consciousness that you must occupy now. Consider how naturally you accept that spring follows winter. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the fulfillment of your desires. Think about the feeling of complete certainty you have about simple facts, like knowing your own name. That same level of certainty, that same absence of doubt, must be applied to your desires, not through force, but through understanding. Most people live in constant anticipation, always waiting for their desire to manifest. But this state of waiting keeps pushing the manifestation into an endless future. The secret is to live as if it's already done. I've witnessed the most remarkable transformations when people finally grasp that their power lies not in doing, but in being. When they stop trying to make things happen and start allowing things to unfold naturally. Consider how effortlessly you fall asleep when you're truly tired. You don't force it, you allow it. This same principle applies to manifestation. The more you try to force it, the more it eludes you. The more you allow, the more naturally it comes. The secret that most miss is this: your imagination isn't showing you possibilities. It's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. Your job is simply to occupy the state where your desire exists. Think about how you feel when you remember something that actually happened. There's a certain solidity to it, a realness. Your desired state must feel just as solid, just as real, just as unquestionable. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to feel the reality of their desire more intensely than they feel current circumstances. When you master this, manifestation becomes automatic. Consider how naturally you accept the changing of seasons. You don't resist it, you don't doubt it. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Your consciousness is like a signal you're constantly broadcasting to the universe. The clearer the signal, meaning the more stable your state, the faster the manifestation. But clarity comes through relaxation, not effort. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances don't create state. State creates circumstances. They lie from the end, feeling it real now. Think about how you feel when you're absolutely certain about something. You don't try to make it true, you know it's true. This is the feeling state that manifests instantly. Most people approach manifestation like it's something they need to figure out. But I tell you this, it's already figured out. Your only job is to occupy the state where what you desire already exists. Consider how naturally you accept your own existence. You don't question it, you don't doubt it. This same level of unquestionable acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Think about how easily you accept that your reflection in a mirror is yours. There's no doubt, no questioning. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your desires. They are as much yours as your reflection. Most people live in a state of constant comparison, always measuring where they are against where they want to be. But this very act of comparison keeps them stuck in the state of wanting. The secret is to live from the state of having. I've watched countless individuals transform their entire lives when they finally understood that their power isn't in changing thinking. Consider how naturally you accept that when you drop something, it will fall. You don't doubt gravity. This same unwavering acceptance must be applied to the law of consciousness. It's just as reliable as gravity. The secret that changes everything is this: your external world has no choice but to reflect your inner state. It's not personal, it's law. Just as a mirror must reflect what stands before it, your world must reflect your consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're completely immersed in doing something you love. Time disappears, worry vanishes, and you're simply being. This pure state of being is where true creative power lies. Most never realize that every moment of discomfort is actually a call to shift states. When you feel dissatisfied, it's not the circumstance that needs to change. It's your state of consciousness. Consider how naturally you accept that tomorrow will come. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural confidence must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Your power to create isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you're using every moment. The question is, are you using it consciously or unconsciously? I have observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that their state of consciousness is like a frequency they're broadcasting. The clearer and more consistent the frequency, the faster the manifestation. Think about how you feel when you remember something that actually happened. There's a certainty to it, an unquestionable reality. Your desired state must feel just as certain, just as real. Most people spend their lives trying to manifest from a state of wanting, not realizing that wanting can only create more wanting. The secret is to manifest from a state of having. Consider how naturally you accept the air you breathe. You don't doubt its presence. You don't worry about its availability. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your desires. Think about how effortlessly water finds its level. It doesn't struggle. It doesn't force. It simply flows. Your manifestation should come just as naturally, just as effortlessly when you're in the right state. Most people live in a constant state of mental warfare, fighting against their current reality while trying to create a new one. But this very fight creates resistance. The secret is to relax into your desired state as naturally as you relax into sleep. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when people finally grasp that their only task is to maintain the feeling of their desire fulfilled, not through strain or effort, but through natural, relaxed awareness. Consider how easily you differentiate between hot and cold. You don't think about it, you just know. This same level of immediate, unquestioning knowing must be applied to your desired state. The secret that most never realize is this: your imagination isn't showing you fantasies, it's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. When you truly grasp this, manifestation becomes instantaneous. Think about how naturally you accept that your heart will keep beating. You don't worry about it, you don't try to control it. This same level of natural trust must be applied to the manifestation of your desires. Most never understand that their power lies not in what they do, but in the state from which they do it. The same action taken from different states produces entirely different results. Consider how easily you recognize your own voice. There's no doubt, no questioning. Your desired state must feel just as familiar, just as undeniably yours. Your external world is nothing but your internal state made visible. But this doesn't mean you need to fight against current circumstances. Simply occupy the state where what you desire already exists. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances are shadows. And you can't fight a shadow. You can only change the object casting it, your state of consciousness. Think about how naturally you accept the ground beneath your feet. You don't question whether it will support you. This same unquestioning trust must be applied to the law of consciousness. Most people approach manifestation like it's a battle to be won. But I tell you this, it's just a state to be occupied. When you occupy the right state, everything else adjusts automatically. Consider how easily you know whether you're happy or sad. You don't need to think about it. You just know. This same immediate knowing must be applied to your desired state. Think about how naturally you accept that after every night comes day. This isn't hope or wishful thinking, it's knowing. Your desired state must feel just as certain, just as inevitable. Most people live in constant mental turmoil, always torn between what is and what could be. But this very division keeps them stuck. The secret is to be single-minded in your consciousness of the desired state. I've watched countless lives transform when people finally understand that their power lies not in changing things on the outside, but in changing the state from which they view everything. Consider how easily you know your own name. There's no doubt, no questioning, no need for evidence. Your desired state must feel just as natural, just as undeniably yours. The secret that changes everything is this. Your consciousness is like a radio signal you're constantly broadcasting. The universe has no choice but to respond to your frequency. But most people keep changing stations. Think about how naturally you accept that spring follows winter. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still. Not physical stillness, but mental stillness. When your mind is truly still, truly at peace with your desired state, that's when magic happens. Consider how effortlessly you recognize your own reflection. You don't need to convince yourself it's you. You just know. This same level of natural recognition must be applied to your desired state. Your external reality is nothing but your internal state projected outward. But this projection isn't something you need to force. It happens automatically when you maintain the right state. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that their job isn't to make things happen, but to occupy the state where things have already happened. Think about how naturally you accept that water is wet. You don't question it, you don't doubt it. This same unquestioning acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Most people spend their lives trying to bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. But I tell you this, there is no gap except in consciousness. Consider how easily you know whether you're awake or asleep. This knowing isn't something you achieve, it's something you experience. Your desired state must be experienced just as naturally. Think about how naturally you accept that your eyes see color. You don't question it, you don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your manifestations. Most people live in a state of constant seeking, always looking outside themselves for evidence of their desires. But this very act of seeking implies absence. The secret is to live from the state of fulfillment. I've witnessed the most profound transformations when people finally grasp that their only responsibility is to maintain the feeling tone of their desire fulfilled, not through force, but through relaxed awareness. Consider how effortlessly you know whether you're hungry or full. There's no debate, no questioning. Your desired state must feel just as undeniable, just as real to your consciousness. The secret that most miss is this. Your imagination isn't simply showing you possibilities. It's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. Your job is to occupy these realities through feeling. Think about how naturally you accept that ice is cold. You don't need proof, you don't question it. This same level of natural knowing must be applied to your desired state. Most never understand that their power lies not in what they do, but in the state from which they do it. The same action taken from different states produces entirely different results. Consider how easily you recognize your favorite song. The moment you hear it, you know it. Your desired state must be just as instantly recognizable to your consciousness. Your consciousness is like the soil in which all seeds of possibility grow. But most people keep digging up their seeds to check if they're growing, not realizing that this very act prevents growth. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances don't create consciousness. Consciousness creates circumstances. Think about how naturally you accept that fire is hot. There's no doubt, no need for proof. Your desired state must feel just as undeniably real. Most people approach manifestation like it's something they need to achieve. But I tell you this is something you need to allow. It's already done in consciousness. Consider how effortlessly you know whether you're comfortable, or uncomfortable. This immediate knowing must be applied to your desired state. It's not something you figure out, it's something you feel. Consider for a moment those times in your life when you felt lost, uncertain, not knowing which path to take or what action to pursue. Perhaps you're in such a situation right now. The world around you may seem chaotic, options may appear limited, and the future uncertain. But I say unto you, in these very moments of apparent confusion and indecision lies your greatest opportunity for growth and manifestation. But what is this that you must do when you don't know what to do? It is not a matter of external action or logical analysis. It is a state of consciousness, a shift in your very being that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that the answer, the guidance, the path forward is already within you, waiting to be imagined into being. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. Your outer world, every experience you have, every circumstance you encounter, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world, your consciousness. It is a mirror faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and most importantly, your imaginal acts. When you understand this, truly understand it, you realize that by carefully choosing and vividly imagining a desired state, even in the face of uncertainty, you are actively creating a new reality that will unfold in your experience. This understanding is crucial, for it shifts the entire paradigm of how you approach moments of uncertainty. No longer are you a helpless being at the mercy of external circumstances, desperately seeking guidance from the outside world. You become the active creator of your reality, knowing that as you imagine and feel a desired state, the universe must rearrange itself to match this new inner assumption, providing the guidance and clarity you seek. But how, you may ask, can one tap into this inner wisdom when the outer world seems so chaotic and uncertain? The answer lies in the creative power of your wonderful human imagination, combined with the intensity of your feeling and belief. For your imagination is not a mere fantasy maker, and your feelings are not mere reactions to external stimuli. Together, they form the very workshop in which reality is forged. Let us take a moment to truly understand this. Your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and feel as true and what you actually experience in the outer world. It accepts as true whatever you feel to be true in your imaginal acts. And once it accepts an idea as true, it proceeds to bring it into manifestation in your physical reality, regardless of how uncertain or impossible the situation may seem to your rational mind. So when you find yourself in a moment of confusion, not knowing what to do, this is what you must do. Turn within to your imagination. Create a scene that implies your desired outcome has already been realized. Feel the relief, the clarity, the certain knowing the perfect path has been revealed to you. Live in this imaginal act as though it were your physical reality. This, my dear listeners, is the essence of what to do when you don't know what to do. It is about recognizing that the power to shape your reality, to find clarity in confusion, lies within you, waiting to be expressed through your conscious imaginal acts. It is about understanding that your outer world of uncertainty is nothing more than a reflection of your inner conversations and imaginal acts, which can be radically altered by assuming a new state in imagination. Consider the biblical phrase, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not a mere poetic expression or a call for passive acceptance. It is a statement of cosmic law, an invitation to recognize the power of your inner being. When you become still, when you quiet the chatter of your worried mind and enter into your imagination, you are connecting with the God presence within you, the source of all wisdom and guidance. But let me be clear, this turning within, this use of your imagination in moments of uncertainty, is not about escapism or denial of your current circumstances. It is about a total immersion in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, of the perfect solution already realized. When you truly embody this practice, you naturally assume the thoughts, feelings, and inner conversations of the person who has already received the guidance they seek. You go to sleep not as the person bound by uncertainty and confusion, but as the person who is clear, confident, and moving purposefully towards their desired outcome. Let us explore this further with an example. Imagine a person facing a critical decision in their life, perhaps choosing between two career paths, unsure of which to pursue. Their outer reality shows no clear signs of which path to take. Now imagine this person deciding to turn within to their imagination. As they quiet their mind, they create a scene that implies they have already made the perfect choice and are thriving in their new career. They feel the satisfaction, the certainty, the joy of knowing they are on the right path. They allow this feeling to permeate every cell of their being. They live in this imaginal act not just for a moment, but they return to it again and again, especially as they drift off to sleep at night. When they awaken, something has shifted. They may not see immediate external changes in their circumstances, but internally, they are no longer the same person. They have experienced the reality of clarity and certainty, and this new self-concept begins to reshape their outer world. In the days and weeks that follow, they find themselves naturally drawn to information, people, and opportunities related to one of the career paths. They approach the decision-making process with a newfound sense of calm and confidence. Ideas and insights that were previously obscured suddenly become clear. And as they continue to live from this state of clarity and certainty in their imagination, their outer world begins to reflect this inner knowing. The perfect path reveals itself, often in ways they could never have logically planned or anticipated. This principle applies to every aspect of your life where you find yourself uncertain or not knowing what to do. Whether you're facing a relationship challenge, a health concern, a financial decision, or any other situation that leaves you feeling lost, the key is to first assume the state of clarity and knowing in your imagination. Feel the reality of having perfect guidance, of knowing exactly what to do. Live in that state, in your imagination, and knowing that as you do so, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind that must grow into your outer reality. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, how can simply imagining a solution really provide guidance when I truly don't know what to do? Surely I need to gather more information or seek advice from others. And to this I say external information and advice can certainly play a role, but they are secondary to the wisdom that comes from within. When you turn to your imagination first, when you assume the state of clarity and knowing, you align yourself with infinite intelligence. From this aligned state, you will be guided to the right information, the right people, the right circumstances that will support your desired outcome. Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no life of its own. It is your consciousness that gives life to your experiences. When you remain in a state of confusion and uncertainty, constantly seeking answers outside yourself, you are breathing life into a reality that perpetuates that confusion. But when you turn within, when you assume the state of clarity, and knowing in your imagination, you set in motion a series of events that must culminate in the outer expression of this new inner reality. This, my dear friends, is the true secret to knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. It is about aligning your inner conversations and imaginal acts with the state of clarity and guidance, recognizing that this desired reality is seeking expression through you. and allowing it to flow into your experience through the power of your imagination and unwavering belief. But let me warn you, this shift in consciousness, this practice of turning within when faced with uncertainty, is not always an easy task. The old habits of worry, of seeking answers outside yourself, of feeling lost and confused, are deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. As you embark on this new way of approaching uncertainty, you may find resistance arising within you. Doubts may creep in. Old thought patterns may try to reassert themselves. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts and feelings. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to your imaginal act of clarity and knowing. For the war is not won by battling against what you don't want, but by persistently embodying what you do want. This persistence, this unwavering commitment to living in a state of clarity and guidance in your imagination, even in the face of outer uncertainty, is what allows you to truly transform your reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're trying to listen to a particular station, you don't focus on eliminating all the other stations. You simply tune into the frequency you desire. In the same way, you don't need to fight against your chaos of confusion or forcefully push away thoughts of uncertainty. You simply need to tune yourself to the frequency of clarity and guidance, to align your entire consciousness with the reality where you know exactly what to do. This tuning is done through your imagination and your ability to generate feeling states. Your imagination is the dial that allows you to tune into different frequencies of experience. As you use your imagination to fully embody the state of clarity and knowing, as you feel the reality of being divinely guided, you are tuning yourself to that frequency, allowing the corresponding experiences to flow into your life. But remember, my friends, this is not a one-time event. Turning within and using your imagination when you don't know what to do is a practice, a way of life. It's a constant choice to maintain this new approach to uncertainty, regardless of appearances. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay in shape by exercising once, you cannot expect to master this practice by using it once. This is about persistently turning within, about maintaining the consciousness of clarity and divine guiding in and day out until it becomes your new normal. As you do this, you will find that your perception of uncertainty begins to shift. What once seemed like confusing, chaotic situations now appear as opportunities for growth and new possibilities. Challenges become stepping stones to greater understanding. You begin to see yourself as the empowered being you truly are, knowing that divine guidance is always available to you through your imagination. Now some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I maintain this practice of turning within when my outer world still seems uncertain? How can I persist in feeling clarity and guidance when circumstances seem to contradict it? And to this I say, your imagination infused with feeling is more powerful than any circumstance. Consider for a moment, have you ever been deeply moved by a story, whether in a book or a movie? In those moments, were you not feeling real emotions based on imaginary events? Your feelings were real, even though the events were not happening in your physical reality. This is the power you must harness when you turn within in moments of uncertainty. You must use your imagination to create scenarios that evoke the feelings associated with having perfect clarity and guidance. Imagine how you would feel if you knew with absolute certainty the perfect path to take. Feel the relief, the confidence, the sense of peace that would come with this knowing. Feel these states as vividly and as consistently as you can. The key is to make your imaginal act as real to you as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the sensations in your body associated with clarity and confidence. Hear the words of wisdom that come from within. See yourself moving through your life with purpose and direction. Make it so real that your rational mind cannot distinguish between this inner experience and physical reality. But here's a crucial point, my friends. The goal is not to imagine specific solutions or outcomes. The goal is to capture the essence of the feeling state associated with having divine guidance and knowing exactly what to do. For it is this feeling state that is the true attractor of your experiences. Let me illustrate this with an example. Instead of trying to imagine the specific details of a solution to resolve, capture the feeling essence of being divinely guided. Imagine a warm, comforting light filling your being, bringing with it a sense of absolute knowing. Feel the peace, the certainty, the alignment that comes with this state. See yourself moving through your day with an unshakable confidence, knowing that each step you take is divinely guided. By focusing on the feeling essence rather than specific outcomes, you allow the universe to bring your solution to you in ways that might far exceed your specific imaginings. You open yourself to possibilities beyond what your current mindset can conceive. This is the true art of knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. It's not about forcing yourself to come up with a solution through sheer willpower. It's about aligning yourself with the truth of your divine nature, your oneness with the creative power of the universe. It's about living each day from the state of being divinely guided regardless of outer appearances. As you practice this, you may find that your outer world begins to shift in subtle ways. Perhaps you start to notice more synchronicities in your life, or you find yourself naturally drawn to information or people that provide the guidance you seek, or solutions to problems that once seemed impossible begin to present themselves effortlessly. These are all signs that your inner shift, brought about by turning within, is creating ripples in your outer reality. Don't discount these small changes. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that the law is working, that your imaginal acts are taking root. But don't become attached to them or anxiously look for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude and continue to live from the state of divine guidance in your imagination. As you persist in this practice, larger changes will begin to manifest. You may find yourself navigating complex situations with ease and grace. You may notice that decisions that once paralyzed you with uncertainty now become clear and obvious. You may achieve outcomes you once thought impossible with a sense of effortless alignment. And as you continue to turn within and live from the state of divine guidance, you'll discover that life becomes an exciting adventure of ever-unfolding clarity and purpose. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the goal. The goal is the state of consciousness from which all desired experiences naturally flow. This is a crucial point, my friends. When you're truly embodying the state of being divinely guided, when you're fully living from this consciousness, you no longer need external circumstances to confirm your state. You're already whole, already complete in your knowing that you are always divinely guided. And paradoxically, it's in this state of inner assurance that you're most likely to experience a life where you always know exactly what to do. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do things in the physical world to find solutions and make decisions? And to this I say, yes, action is part of the process. But it's inspired action, not anxious doing. When you're consistently turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, ideas and opportunities will naturally present themselves to you. You'll feel inspired to take certain actions, to move in certain directions. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. This is the difference between trying to figure things out through sheer mental effort and allowing solutions to unfold naturally. When you're trying to force clarity, actions feel stressful, born out of fear and uncertainty. When you're living from the consciousness of divine guidance, actions flow naturally from your aligned state, guided by an inner wisdom that knows exactly what steps to take. Consider the example of a river flowing to the sea. The river doesn't strain to find its path. It doesn't force its way through obstacles. It simply flows, naturally finding the path of least resistance. You, my dear listeners, are no different. When you align yourself with the consciousness of divine guidance through your imagination, you allow your life to unfold naturally and beautifully, always knowing the perfect steps to take. But let me be clear, this state of allowing is not passive. It requires an active use of your imagination, a deliberate and focused embodiment of the state of being divinely guided. It requires faith, not blind faith in external circumstances, but faith in the creative power of your consciousness and your ability to always know what to do through your connection with infinite intelligence. This faith is not about believing that you'll figure things out someday in the future. It's about knowing that you are divinely guided now in this very moment, and that your outer world must inevitably conform to this new inner reality. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, you'll begin to see evidence of always knowing what to do in your outer world. These signs may start small, an unexpected insight that solves a problem, a chance encounter that provides exactly the information you need, a sudden clarity about a decision you've been struggling with. Do not discount these signs, no matter how small they may seem, for they are confirmation that your inner world, shaped by your imaginal acts, is indeed shaping your outer reality. They are breadcrumbs leading you to the full realization of a life where you always know is now exactly what to do, even in the face of apparent uncertainty. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that arises when people first encounter this teaching. Many worry that turning within and relying on their imagination for guidance might somehow disconnect them from reality or lead to impractical decisions. But I assure you, my friends, the opposite is true. When you truly understand the principle of turning within for guidance, you realize that you are not separate from reality. You are the creator of your reality. As you elevate your own consciousness by connecting with the divine guidance within, you are elevating your ability to navigate the physical world with grace and wisdom. In the depths of your consciousness lies a power so magnificent, so absolute, that once you truly grasp it and apply it correctly, you will never again find yourself struggling against the current of life. Rather, you will move through existence as naturally as a fish moves through water, as effortlessly as a bird soars through the sky. The first principle you must understand is this: the outer world is nothing more than a reflection, a shadow, a projection of your inner world. As within, so without is not merely a philosophical concept, but an absolute law of being. What you hold in consciousness with feeling and conviction must objectify itself in your world. It cannot do otherwise, for that is the law of your being. Now, why must you do this without telling anyone? Let me explain this critical point. When you speak of your desires, your intentions, your wishes to others before they have been realized in your consciousness as accomplished facts, you dissipate the energy required for their manifestation. You release the pressure, so to speak, that would otherwise build and propel your desire into expression. Remember the words from Scripture, "Go and tell no man." This is not merely ethical advice, it is a profound metaphysical instruction. The creative power within you works most effectively in silence in the secret place of the Most High, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Let us delve deeper into the nature of this principle, the power of silence. Most people, upon conceiving a desire or setting a goal, immediately broadcast it to the world. They tell their friends, their family, their colleagues, and in doing so, they experience a momentary satisfaction, a false sense of accomplishment. They receive acknowledgement, perhaps even praise or encouragement, and this premature recognition tricks the subconscious mind into believing that the thing is already done, that the desire has already been fulfilled. But what has really happened? Nothing has changed in their world. The desire remains unfulfilled. The goal remains unachieved. All that has occurred is a dissipation of the creative energy that would have, if properly directed and contained, brought the desire into manifestation. When you tell others of your intentions, you also expose your nascent creation to the doubts, criticisms, and limiting beliefs of others. Your desire, still fragile in its conceptual state, may not withstand the onslaught of collective disbelief. It may wither and die before it has had the chance to take root in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Consider the wisdom in the story of Mary, who kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. She did not rush to announce the miraculous conception, but held it sacred within her consciousness until it was ready to be born into the world. So I say to you, hold your desires sacred. Nurture them in the silence of your consciousness. Tell no one until they have been realized in your world. This is the first step in allowing doors to open without effort. The art of assumption. Now, what is it that you must do in silence without telling anyone? You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances improve or when others approve, but now. The secret is to identify the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already realized, and then to assume that feeling so completely that it displaces your present state. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful fantasizing. This is a deliberate, conscious shift in your state of being. If you desire wealth, you must assume the feeling of wealth now. How would you feel if you were financially abundant? What would your inner conversations be like? How would you walk, talk, and interact with others? Assume these feelings and behaviors now, not as a pretense, but as an acknowledgement of a truth that exists in a dimension not yet visible to your physical senses. If you desire a loving relationship, you must assume the feeling of being loved now. Feel the warmth, the security, the joy that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Let this feeling permeate your consciousness until it becomes your predominant state. If you desire health, assume the feeling of vitality and well-being now. Feel the energy coursing through your body, the effortless movement, the absence of pain or limitation. Live from this state and watch as your physical condition aligns with your inner assumption. Remember, what you are seeking is also seeking you. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, a series of events is set in motion that will bring about the realization of your desire. Doors will open that you did not know existed. Opportunities will present themselves that you could not have anticipated. People will enter your life bearing gifts that precisely match your inner state. And all this will occur without effort, without struggle, without the need for you to manipulate external circumstances. For when you change your inner state, the outer world must change to reflect it. This is law, the renunciation of effort. We come now to a paradox that confounds the logical mind, but is perfectly clear to the awakened consciousness, the renunciation of effort, the pathway to effortless achievement. Most people believe that success requires struggle, that achievement demands sacrifice, that goals must be pursued with relentless determination. They push, they strive, they force, they manipulate. And in doing so, they create resistance both within themselves and in their external circumstance. But I tell you this, true achievement, lasting success, genuine fulfillment comes not through effort, but through alignment. When you align your consciousness with the state of having already achieved your desire, the path to its physical manifestation clears before you. The doors that seemed locked and barred swing open of their own accord. The mountains that loomed insurmountable simply vanish from your path. This is not laziness or passivity. It is the highest form of action, action from the state of being rather than from the state of wanting. When you act from the conviction that your desire is already fulfilled, your actions are inspired, effortless, and precisely calibrated to bring about the results you seek. Consider how effortlessly you perform the actions associated with states you have fully assumed. If you know yourself to be literate, you do not agonize over whether you can read the words on a page. You simply read them. If you know yourself to be a skilled driver, you do not doubt your ability to navigate the roads. You simply drive. The actions flow naturally from your state of being. So it is with all things. When you fully assume the state of having what you desire, the actions required for its manifestation flow naturally and effortlessly from you. You find yourself saying the right words, making the right choices, taking the right steps, not through calculated effort, but through the natural expression of your assumed state. The living in the end. Now let me share with you the practical technique that will enable you to apply this principle effectively in your life. I call it living in the end. To live in the end means to occupy in the imagination the state of your wish fulfilled, and to dwell there as though it were your present reality. It means to view the world not from where you are now, but from where you desire to be. Each night as you lay your head upon your pillow and enter the state akin to sleep, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid as possible. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Involve all your senses in this imaginative act. If your desire is for a promotion at work, you might imagine a colleague congratulating you on your new position. Feel the handshake, hear the words of congratulation, see the smile on their face. Feel the satisfaction and accomplishment that would be yours in that moment. If your desire is for a harmonious relationship, imagine a scene where you and your beloved are together in perfect understanding and joy. Feel the love between you, the mutual respect, the deep connection. Hear the words that would be spoken in such a moment of harmony. If your desire is for physical health, imagine a scene where you are engaged in an activity that your current condition prevents. Feel the ease of movement, the vitality, the absolute freedom from limitation or discomfort. As you fall asleep, immersed in this scene, you impress it upon your subconscious mind, which accepts it as reality and begins to work ceaselessly to bring it into physical expression. For your subconscious does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you experience in the external world. To it, the two are identical. Practice this technique night after night, and you will begin to notice subtle changes in your waking experience. It may begin with a change in your own attitudes and perceptions. You may find yourself responding differently to familiar situations. You may notice new ideas occurring to you, new impulses guiding your actions. Eventually, these inner changes will externalize themselves in the form of new circumstances, new relationships, new opportunities that align with your imagined state. And all of this will occur without strain, without struggle, without anxious concern on your part. It will feel as natural as the changing of seasons, as effortless as the rising of the sun. But remember, tell no one of what you are doing. Keep this practice sacred and secret. For in silence, your imaginative power grows. In privacy, your assumption gathers strength. In the absence of external validation or criticism, your imagined state takes root in the depths of your being and begins to grow into tangible reality. The abandonment of the old. For this process to work most effectively, you must be willing to abandon your old concept of self, your old way of relating to the world. You cannot cling to your current identity while simultaneously trying to assume a new state of being. The two are incompatible. If you have known yourself as lacking, as struggling, as unworthy, these concepts must be released to make way for your new assumption. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot stand with one foot in your present state and the other in your desired state. You must make a complete commitment to the state you wish to embody. This requires courage. It requires faith. It requires a willingness to die to your old self, that your new self might be born. For make no mistake, this is a form of death and rebirth, the only death and rebirth that truly matters in your journey through this world. The scripture says, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. Your old concept of self must die, must be completely abandoned, that your new concept might bear fruit in your experience. How do you abandon the old self? By withdrawing your attention from it, by refusing to identify with its limitations, its fears, its sense of lack, by redirecting your attention completely and persistently to your new concept of self until the old concept atrophies from disuse and falls away naturally. This is not denial or repression. It is transformation through the redirection of consciousness. It is the highest form of psychological and spiritual alchemy, the transmutation of lead into gold, of limitation into freedom, of separateness into unity, the persistence in assumption. Now, I must caution you, this process is not necessarily instantaneous. While some desires manifest quickly, others require a longer gestation period. The time it takes for your assumption to externalize itself depends on many factors, including the naturalness of your desire relative to your current state, the intensity of your assumption, and the degree to which you remain faithful to your new concept of self. What is required above all is persistence in your assumption. You must continue to live from the end to occupy your imagined state, regardless of appearances. You must not be discouraged or dissuaded by the evidence of your senses, which may for a time continue to reflect your previous state rather than your new assumption. Remember, the physical world is a shadow, a delayed reflection of your consciousness. It will catch up to your new state, but it may do so gradually in its own time and in its own way. Your part is simply to maintain your assumption, to continue living from the end with absolute faith that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify self in your world. This persistence is not a form of effort or struggle. It is not about forcing yourself to believe what your senses deny. It is simply a matter of choosing moment by moment which reality you will occupy in consciousness, the reality of your former state or the reality of your wish fulfilled. When doubts arise, as they inevitably will, do not fight them. Simply observe them without judgment, and then gently return your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, acknowledge them without allowing them to dislodge you from your chosen state. Say to yourself, this may be the case in the shadow world of physical appearances, but in the reality of my consciousness, my desire is already fulfilled. In time, with persistence, your assumption will harden into fact. What you have consciously assumed, you will objectively experience. And you will recognize that it was not your anxious striving, but your faithful assumption that brought your desire to fruition. The inner conversations. Pay particular attention to your inner conversations, for they are perhaps the most potent form of assumption. The words you speak to yourself in the privacy of your mind shape your reality more powerfully than any external action you might take. If you truly wish to assume a new state of being, you must revise your inner dialogue to reflect that state. If, for example, you wish to embody financial abundance, your inner conversations must be those of a financially abundant person, not those of someone struggling with lack or limitation. Listen to the words you speak silently to yourself throughout the day. Are they consistent with your desired state? Or do they betray a continued identification with the state you wish to transcend? If you find that your inner conversations contradict your conscious intention, do not become discouraged. Simply revise them. Construct new inner dialogues that imply the fulfillment of your desire, and rehearse them until they become your habitual way of thinking. For instance, instead of saying to yourself, I can't afford this, say, I am so grateful that I can easily afford everything I desire. Instead of telling yourself, this situation is impossible, say, I am so grateful that this situation has been resolved harmoniously. Instead of thinking, I am always overlooked for promotion, think, I am so appreciated for my contributions, and I am naturally advancing in my career. Make these new inner conversations your constant companions, and you will be amazed at how quickly your external circumstances begin to align with them. For your inner conversations are not merely reactions to your circumstances, they are the very creators of those circumstances. The gratitude in advance. Another powerful practice that will accelerate the manifestation of your desires is gratitude, not gratitude for what you have already received, but gratitude for what you have claimed in consciousness but is not yet visible to your physical senses. When you give thanks in advance for the fulfillment of your desire, you affirm your firm in the creative process. You acknowledge that the thing is already yours in consciousness, and you express appreciation for its inevitable externalization in your physical experience. This form of gratitude is not a manipulative technique to cajole the universe into giving you what you want. It is a genuine expression of your understanding of the law of consciousness. You are grateful not because you hope to receive, but because you know that in consciousness you have already received. Begin and end each day with this expression of gratitude. Say to yourself with deep feeling, thank you, Father, that this already done. Feel the reality of your desire as a present fact and give thanks for it just as you would for something that is already manifest in your world. This practice of gratitude aligns you more fully with the state of having already received. And it accelerates the bridge of incidents that leads to the physical realization of your desire. It is a declaration of your faith in the law and your acceptance of the gift you have given yourself through the power of your consciousness. The revision of the past. Now there is another aspect of this practice that is often overlooked but is enormously powerful. The revision of the past. Your present circumstances are the result of your past thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. But just as you can change your future by changing your present consciousness, you can also change the effects of your past by revising your memory of it. If your past contains experiences of failure, rejection, or disappointment that still affect your self-concept, and therefore your present circumstances, you can revise those experiences in imagination. You can rewrite the script, so to speak, creating new memories that align with your desired state of being. For example, if you're passed over a promotion in the past, and this experience still affects your confidence and your expectations regarding your career, you can revise it. In your imagination, go back to that moment and experience it differently. See yourself receiving the promotion, hear the words of congratulation, feel the satisfaction and validation. If you experience the end of a relationship that left you feeling unlovable or unworthy, revise it. In your imagination, experience a harmonious resolution, a mutual recognition that allows both parties to move forward with respect and goodwill. As you practice this technique of revision, you will find that the emotional charge associated with painful past events begins to dissolve. The past no longer determines your present state of consciousness, and therefore it loses its power to shape your future experiences. Remember, time is a construct of consciousness. The only reality is the eternal now, the present moment, in which all possibilities exist simultaneously. By revising the past in imagination, you are not denying what occurred in the world of shadows. You are exercising your divine prerogative to choose which version of reality you will accept as definitive. The recognition of unity. As you practice these principles, you will begin to recognize a profound truth that underlies all of creation, the unity of being. You will come to understand that there is no separation between you and the source of all that is, no distance between your consciousness and the creative power that shapes worlds. The Bible tells us, I and my Father are one. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a statement of absolute metaphysical fact. The I am that speaks through you, that identifies itself as your consciousness, is the same I am that created the universe and sustains it moment by moment. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God, the creative power of the universe. And whatever you attach to that divine name, whatever state you identify, with after the sacred words I am becomes your reality, your experience, your world. This is why assumption is so powerful. When you assume a state, you are literally claiming it as your divine identity. You are saying, I am this, and the universe, which is nothing more than the externalization of consciousness, must conform to that declaration. As you come to understand this truth, not intellectually, but experientially, through the practice of these principles, you will be liberated from fear, from doubt, from the belief in limitation. You will recognize that all things are possible to you because all things are possible to the I am that you are. And in this recognition of unity, you will find the ultimate freedom. You will know that there is no power outside of you that can constrain or limit you. No authority beyond your own consciousness that determines your fate. You are the author of your experience, the creator of your reality, the architect of your destiny, the fulfillment of purpose. Why have you been given this creative power? What is its purpose? Simply this, the expansion of awareness, the evolution of consciousness, the eternal journey of the infinite becoming more of itself through the vehicle of your unique expression. You are here to fulfill a purpose that only you can fulfill, to manifest a possibility that only you can manifest, to embody an aspect of the infinite that can be expressed in just the way that you express it. This is your gift to the universe, your contribution to the ongoing creation. And as you align your individual consciousness with the universal consciousness, as you assume states that reflect the highest and best that you can conceive, you fulfill this purpose. You become a clear channel through which the infinite can express its boundless nature in five form. This is the ultimate meaning of the scriptural injunction to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. It is a call not to flawless moral behavior as conventionally understood, but to the assumption of your divine identity, to the recognition and expression of your true nature as a vessel of infinite creative consciousness. In this assumption of your divine identity, all doors open before you without effort. The universe conspires to support your expression. The entire field of creation aligns itself with your assumed state. And you move through life not as a supplicant begging for scraps from the table of existence, but as the rightful heir to all that is, claiming your inheritance with quiet confidence and serene faith. The application in daily life. How then do you apply these principles in your daily life? How do you translate this metaphysical understanding into practical results? Let me offer some specific guidance. First, identify what you truly desire. Not what you think you should desire. Not what others expect you to desire, but what resonates with the deepest part of your being. What state of consciousness would give you the greatest joy, the most profound satisfaction, the deepest sense of fulfillment? Next, formulate a scene that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it short, specific, and symbolic of the state you wish to embody. It might be a congratulatory handshake, a glimpse of a bank statement, the feel of a wedding ring on your finger, the sound of applause after a presentation, or any other sensory experience that implies your wish is already fulfilled. Then, each night as you fall asleep and each morning as you wake, enter a state of relaxed state between waking and sleeping, where your conscious mind is receptive and your subconscious mind is accessible. In this state, enact your chosen scene. Experience it as vividly as possible, involving all your senses and imbuing it with genuine emotion. Throughout your day, whenever you think of your desire, remind yourself that it is already yours in consciousness. Feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled just for a moment. Then go about your business without anxiety or impatience. If doubts arise, acknowledge them without resistance. Then gently return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you interact with others, do not speak of your desire as something you hope for, wish for, or are working toward. Either speak of it as something that is already accomplished, or do not speak of it at all. Remember, go and tell no man. Pay attention to the signs that your new state is beginning to externalize itself, the subtle changes in your own attitudes, the synchronicities that appear in your experience, the new opportunities that present themselves. Acknowledge these signs with gratitude, recognizing them as confirmation of the inner shift you have achieved. Above all, maintain your faith in the law of consciousness. Trust that what you have assumed must objectify itself in your world, not through your anxious effort, but through the impersonal operation of cosmic law. Rest in the assurance that as you have planted in consciousness, so shall you reap in experience. The promise fulfilled. I have shared with you tonight the secret of secrets, the principle that underlies all manifestation, the law that governs all creation. I have given you a technique so simple yet so profound that, if faithfully applied, it cannot fail to transform your life in ways you may not yet have imagined. Do this without telling anyone, and watch how doors open without effort. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Persist in that assumption despite all evidence to the contrary, and you will discover for yourself the truth of the promise. All things are possible to him that believeth. The power I speak of is not external to you. It is not a force you must supplicate or appease. It is your own wonderful human imagination, your own consciousness, your own I am-ness. It is the creative power of the universe individualized in you. waiting to be directed by your assumption. Use this power wisely, lovingly, joyfully. Use it to lift yourself from limitation to freedom, from separation to unity, from fear to love. Use it not merely to acquire things or circumstances, but to express the highest and best that you can conceive, to contribute to the welfare and awakening of all beings, to participate consciously in the eternal creative process that is the purpose and meaning of existence. Remember always that what you seek is also seeking you, that what you desire desires expression through you, that what you wish to manifest wishes to be manifested by you. There is no opposition in the universe, no resistance to your good, no denial of your rightful inheritance as a divine being in human form. The only barriers to the fulfillment of your desires are the limitations you have accepted in consciousness. Remove these barriers by assuming the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. And watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the truth that sets you free. Thank you for your attention tonight. May you go forth and apply these principles with faith, with love, with the serene confidence that comes from knowing who you truly are. May all that you desire be manifested in your experience, not through anxious striving, but through the effortless unfolding that follows right assumption. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. You are the maker of your destiny, the creator of your reality, the author of your experience. Recognize this truth, embrace this power, fulfill this promise. And now, before we close, I invite you to take a moment to enter the silence of your own being. Close your eyes if you wish, turn your attention inward, and feel the reality of who you truly are, not a limited human personality struggling against the world, but an infinite creative consciousness expressing itself in human form. Feel the power within you, the same power that created worlds, that sustains galaxies, that brings forth life in all its forms. Feel it not as something separate from you, but as the very essence of your being, the I am that constitutes your fundamental identity. From this awareness, claim your good. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Know that as you plant this seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness, it must grow and bear fruit in your experience. It cannot do otherwise, for such is the law of your being. Rest in this knowledge, abide in this faith, live from this assumption, and watch as doors open before you without effort, as mountains are removed from your path without struggle, as the universe itself conspires to bring into visible form the state you have claimed on consciousness. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the truth. Go now in the awareness of your own divinity, in the recognition of your own creative power, in the assurance of your own inevitable good. For you are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You are the embodiment of the infinite in finite form. And all things, all states, all circumstances, all experiences are yours by right of consciousness. Assume your rightful place as the creator of your reality, and watch as your world transforms itself to reflect the glory of your true being. This is the secret of secrets, the truth behind all truths, the reality within all realities. Do this without telling anyone, and watch how doors open without effort.